Welcome, everyone. We're waiting for a few more minutes to get started, as we've got a few more people joining. Okay, we got a few more minutes. Wonderful. More minutes. Awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. A quick round of introductions. My name is Richard. I'm part of the sales team here at PSPDFKit. I've been with PSPDFKit for, I think, roughly 7.5 years. So it's been super exciting to see the growth of our offerings. Today, we'll be going over primarily kind of our offerings and how PSPDF is licensed and some of the things you can take advantage of in your own applications. I have with me Guillermo, who's one of our web engineers, to kind of help out with any technical questions. He'll be helping out with the questions that come in the chat, so feel free to ask questions as we go along. He'll be helping out with that, and then he'll come back at the end and we can finish up with anything. Guillermo, you got anything to add?
No, I would simply mention that I'm part of a web team here at PSPDFKit, and if you have any technical question related to our SDK, please feel free to go into the chat, and I will be helping out over there. So, yeah,
Okay.
you're good to go, Richard.
All right, wonderful, Guillermo. We'll see you at the end. And just a quick note, we will be recording this. If you've registered, you should get a link at the end of the webinar to pass this along to your team or revisit anything that we talked about. Okay, I will go ahead and share my screen so we can get started and learn a little bit more about PSPDFKit and our offerings here. So, Pspdfkit is a PDF solution that allows you to manipulate documents. We've been in the space for over 10 years, starting primarily in mobile, providing support for rendering and annotating documents in mobile applications. You can see our SDK used in applications such as like Dropbox, Box, DocuSign, companies like this. But over the years, we've expanded our offering to support other operating systems such as web applications, window apps, as well as server-side processes as well. So wanted to go a little bit into how PSPDFKit is licensed and how you can evaluate it. So with PSPDFKit, we do offer a free trial. What this allows you to do is deploy our latest build along with all the APIs that we offer. It will have a large watermark on it, but that is obviously removed when you move to a commercial license. So this will allow you to move through our documentation, get set up in a couple of minutes, and integrate PSPDFKit into your project. So if you have any questions on the technical side while you're getting started, or any customization questions or stuff like that, we've got extensive documentation for each platform, as well as a extremely large and knowledgeable engineering team that you can leverage either through email, or we're happy to set up calls as well to talk through any questions that you have. Wonderful. So today, primarily for this webinar and this demo, I'm going to be focusing on PSPDFKit for web. what PSPDFKit for web does, it allows you to integrate both rendering and manipulation functions, both client side and server side in web applications, so browser-based applications. So any type of device that can run a browser can support PSPDFKit web and your application. We spent several years tailoring the UI so that it's compatible with the type of device that you're running on, whether it be a phone, a desktop, or even a TV at this point. Most things do run a browser now. Additionally, though, just for reference, we do have other SDKs. We have our native bindings for iOS, Android, and Windows for UWP applications. So if you do have something on the App Store or the Google Play Store, we can help out there. Additionally, we have spent some time in the past year extending our offering to some hybrid technologies that we see growing popularity in kind of development communities with Flutter and React Native. So we've bridged a lot of the functionality that we have on our mobile apps and our mobile SDKs to Flutter and React Native, and that's a continued process for us, similar to how Electron as well. Some of our newest offerings, some of our newest offerings that you'll see in our products is support to deploying PDF support and SharePoint's teams of OneDrive. We identified there's an opportunity for us to help bring both viewing and annotating documents in SharePoint and Microsoft environments to benefit your users. Before I kind of move on again, additionally, we do also have a ton of server-side offerings as well that can do some, large batch processing of documents, such as redacting, document editing, applying watermarks. We have our processor, which is language agnostic, which you can run as well as our Java and .NET library. Over the past couple of months, we've also partnered with a couple other companies as well. So if there's anything ever that seems to be, just slightly off or lacking, definitely let us know. One of our partners might have something we can help. And then, through our API offering, we have a hosted service as well if you'd like to take advantage of that. So looking at kind of how PSPDFKit is licensed and deployed, this is our extensive feature list. So these are all the things that we support when working with documents. One of the big benefits of using PSPDFKit is that we provide a feature flagged module of both deploying and licensing. So what that means is you have the ability to license and pay for only the functionality that you need. This is great for initial rollouts where you might just have some initial requirements for working with documents, such as just viewing it rather than using a third-party tool where you have to exit the application. But it also allows for customer requests, and as requirements change, you can come back with an easy upgrade with PSPDFKit. As we have a license key that communicates with the framework itself. So to start with our viewer, I just wanted to dive in a little bit, a couple things about our viewer to highlight. So I'm going to pull up an example. So PSPDFKit comes with a standard UI and UX that we've built to be incredibly user friendly, and try to design something that doesn't take training. So I'm able to hover over the icons and kind of be able to figure out what each of these these things do. Looking at some of our viewer features, I'm able to do quite a bit in terms of being able to snap to the page. We're able to zoom quite a bit at a good level. We work heavily in the construction and engineering industries where being able to view and look at complex plans are quite important. We also provide you some customizations on how you look at PDFs, and how you transition through them, as well as the view state of them if the pages are scanned in and the orientation is wrong. I typically like to go one page at a time, but I can change the transition. One thing to note about the UI is this is entirely customizable. So you're able to set certain presets as well as change the icons, remove certain things. So this is by standard when kind of plug and play our SDK, this is what we're getting. But you do have the ability to customize the layout and put branding. Like here we've put our PSPDFKit logo, but ask if if you have a customer of yours that wants their brand, you could obviously do this as well. Excuse me. Additionally, we have our ability to look at thumbnails and get a larger view of the PDF itself for navigation. As you see, the UI is pretty intuitive, that it snaps based on what I'm trying to accomplish. Maybe we'll bring this back as well. This sidebar is also very customizable, where I'm able to change what this is. We also have an outline. So part of our job at PSPDFKit is when we do any type of feature releases, we do a good deal of QA to ensure cross compatibility with other readers. So, if I was going to export this PDF, by default, I have it downloading locally to my desktop, and I open this up in Adobe or another reader, we would want this this outline to persist. Same thing with bookmarks as well. With adding a bookmark, we want to add bookmarks to the pages, and we want to try and make these persist so that as the document life cycle happens, these things are both when you input the PDF to PSPDFKit, you're able to support it, but also when you export the PDF to other areas that it's there. This is also one of the great advantages of how we've engineered our product, where we have leveraged PDFume, which is the PDF renderer owned and backed as Google as our core rendering engine. We spent many years improving it and building additional functionalities. It being, probably the most popular PDF viewer in the world, as it's leveraged by Google Chrome as a web view. We get the benefit that our SDK has an incredibly high degree of fidelity in terms of rendering things correctly and consistently, as well as performance as well. So yeah, finishing up a couple more things on the viewer side, we have the ability to print. We also have a search engine that will allow me to search within the PDF and then toggle through the search results. And again, I showed that I exported this, but again, you can customize this UI. So wanted to show an example of the customization. So here we've got a magazine. We work quite a bit in the publishing industry, where we understand that, the ability to keep documents in a manner where they are difficult to export, like a DRM, is important. So we've removed all abilities to download, print, things like that. And we've just relied on a few UI tools, such as, we want to be able to highlight. We want to be able to look at, our thumbnail view. We want to add bookmarks. So we have some custom annotations here. You can also see with, how we move through the PDF as well will be different, because we wanted to give the idea of, a magazine itself. So that's something we've done. While we're here, I'll probably take a moment to kind of touch on, annotations. We do have an inspector that's quite feature rich, with the ability to change different colors. I can also go to the point where I can change the backfill as well underneath, including the opacity of the annotation as well, the line thickness of the annotation, the original annotation, and then I can decide how I want this to look on the layer that I'm adding it to the PDF. If we need to add a note that doing a webinar, and that's why I had to do this annotation, that'll be good. And these annotations will persist again as you open this up in other readers and stuff. So if you're using PSPDFKit and you're in your client tool and they're downloading this and sending it to their customers, if they're opening this in Chrome or other readers, these annotation notes should persist, and things like that. Other customizations that I wanted to highlight is, we've worked a good deal on feature requests. Our roadmap is largely driven by what we hear in the industry and the customers that we work with. So, one of the things that we understood was that, a better search engine would really benefit customers. So what we did is we have extended the simple search engine to a better ability to be able to toggle through the search engine by customizing the sidebar. So I'm able to look at all the instances where this says this and then navigate it to it as well, which is quite nice. Other customizations you can see is we did a custom thumbnail bar, as well as, an annotation filter where we can see all the history of the annotations that were made. We can navigate to them. We can delete specific ones if we need to. We can also input a author name API and track who made the annotations, when they made the annotations, and things like that. So yeah, we can kind of continue to move on with the viewer itself. This is another example of how we've created a flipbook from taking the viewer and providing a certain workflow on how we navigate the PDF. So yeah, that would be our viewer. Great. It looks like we've got a few questions, but we can do that. Can I zoom in a little bit? Yeah, of course. I can definitely zoom in a little bit. So the next thing, on our list would be PDF forms. PDF forms is a common use of, organizing information in the PDF itself. We follow the PDF spec in which we support PDF acro forms. So if a PDF has a form field on it, we're able to both render it and allow you to annotate the form fields based on the type of form field that's been constructed. So you can see that we have text boxes, other type of form fields are radio buttons, check boxes as well. We also have a date picker as well, which provides a certain UI that allows me to pick the exact date, as well as we're recognizing that there's signature boxes as well. So if I click on the signature box, I'll be able to pull our signing UI, where I have an option to draw, upload an image of my signature, or I could add it as well. Our UI will snap it nice to the form field. One of the nice benefits about using PDF forms is that we can take the use case of simply being able to fill and view them out, but we can also go the next step where you can programmatically fill out forms using information from a database. So if you have certain things like first and last name from a database, and you're using forms as a common workflow that you have, you can programmatically fill this out, as we've done with these three instances. We've taken this from a database and we filled these out, and that's very common with the use of forms. Real estate, construction, government, there's a lot there where you're taking information. On the other side as well is when the form is completed, you can also map that information back to your database as well and collect that information and do what you want with it. One of the big benefits, that we have with PSPDFKit is we give you a ton of flexibility on where the document comes from and where that document goes afterwards, with kind of two different types of integrations. While I'm here, I'll show a couple different other form annotation types that we have. I've been leveraging the freehand drawing. I'm running this on Chrome right now with just my Apple mouse. I've got highlighting. Other things I can select specific text, and so it'll bound it to the text. I can then use an API to extract the underlying text under the highlight as well. I can also use my eraser rather than having to delete all annotations at once, which I know is some restrictions on some open source tools. I'm able to just erase some of that. You saw the signature dialog that we offer. You can upload images. We also have the ability to add stamps. We have pre-filled stamps, but again, with the customization of Pspdfkit, you'll be able to upload your own stamps as you want. And we also have the ability to, build your own custom one at the top as well with different presets as well. So some flexibility here. We also want to be able to add notes, as you saw. We have different icons for how the notes appear on the PDF itself. So if I needed to put a work order here and says this was done, I can reference that there, and I can change different things like the color of it as well. Shape annotations are also quite helpful. We do a number of different defined annotations. You can see some industry specific stuff as well. We work heavily in the construction industry we built out support for cloud annotations, which is kind of a standard annotation type for distinguishing certain things on engineering drawings. So we've done that as well. And that was a customer request that came in. And so we spent time with our engineering team and our product team adding that as a standard function with Pspdfkit. Also, you'll find that, you do have the ability to build out on top of our offering. So adding other annotation types, icons, custom overlay items, there's a lot of flexibility there. So yeah, moving along the list, about 20 minutes in, we've covered annotations, forms. We've also kind of touched on electronic signatures when I signed my form field. One of the really nice things that we've brought to our SDK, which you don't find in a lot of softwares, is support for true redaction. So when I say true redaction, the ability to permanently remove both the layer and underlying metadata from a PDF. So if you have personal information that's sensitive or you need to redact things, Pspdfkit can take that and help you out. So we have a couple ways of accomplishing this. I'm going to go ahead and highlight application agreement. So if I search for it right now, my search engine recognizes that application is part of the PDF. If I do this now and I mark this for redaction, I get a prompt on what I want to do. So again, I'm going to redact this because of my webinar. I'm going to come back into my UI. Let's go with purple in terms of the color of the redaction. I can put an overlay text of why it was redaction. We'll make this green, and then I'll apply it. So I've applied it. You can see the personal information. Apologies on the colors. That's kind of harsh. But the important thing is now when I come back in and I search for application, I'm not getting that search result anymore because I'm not getting that search result anymore because I've removed it permanently from the SD from the PDF. Excuse me. So yeah, so we're really happy with that. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You can obviously highlight certain text. If the document doesn't recognize, you can also do an area redaction. For the sake of everyone's eyes, I'm going to switch this up and go back to black, and I'll apply that. We've also built out some custom examples, which we have certain presets that we can search for. We can mark those for redaction. So this is search the PDF, find credit cards, and now we can apply it much quicker. One of the things that we've done quite a bit is we've built a number of examples that will link you to GitHub. And these are all open source, so you can use them. So if there are some work we've done in the past for certain use cases that might be pertinent to you, applying watermarks, going to dark mode, maybe you're in aviation and you need dark mode for, flying at night. We expose all these on GitHub, and they're freely available for you to use during your evaluation and your development. Yep. So good deal. The last touch on redaction that you'll see is, the things that I'm showing today are mostly client-side tools. So, me interacting with the SDK itself. Pspdfkit provides a number of server-side processes. So if we had a collection of documents that we needed to redact in bulk, we could do that as well. Excuse me. So a couple more features we'll cover. We've got about 5 to 10 more minutes before we'll open it up to more questions. The document editor. We've seen this tool grow in popularity with kind of a pivot away from, exporting documents to tools like desktop applications. The document editor allows me to rearrange documents, delete pages, rotate the orientation, duplicate. I can also import documents if I need them. I can undo, I can select all, and then I have the option to save or save as. So I can update the existing document itself, or I can create a new copy as well. So that's like a standard practice. So like applying that to our redaction demo, I could ideally redact a copy of the document rather than doing the original each time. Yeah. So if we have some sensitivity where we need to come back to it. So wonderful. The last thing I would say on the signature piece is we do have support for applying and verifying existing digital certificates. So if you do have a workflow where applying a digital certificate to a signature is required, our SDK will acknowledge and verify that a digital certificate has been applied. And then if the document is edited at any point, so again, I edited the document, you can see that we also recognize that it's been modified since it was signed, so something might have happened to the document. So that's quite important to us. So as signature laws continue to change across the world, we want to be on the forefront of that and being able to help you apply those certificates that you've acquired from certificate authorities, and then be able to let you know that the signatures are valid. But again, if I edit the document, we also will say that it's been modified as well. So it's quite helpful. Great. Cool. So we do have quite a bit more stuff that we do. Kind of hard to capture it. I'm going to cover one more thing, but I just wanted to outline that, in addition to some of the front end stuff, we do have an incredible OCR engine. We have the ability to generate PDFs from HTML. We also support other document types such as images, as Office files, and we're able to convert those to PDF that allow you to use all the tools that we have today. So extending that use case quite a bit so that you're able to work with multiple document types. Some of these require a server-side process, which we have taken our web framework and now we offer 2 different integrations. We have a standalone integration, which is serverless, which is incredibly plug and play. It allows you to get up and running with really no deployment concerns. You're able to do all the rendering in the client, and there's no backend requirements. However, we have a more integrated approach that we call server backed, which comes with PSPDFKit server, which is self-hosted. It's delivered via a container approach through Docker, and that allows certain functionality such as lazy loading, downloading pages on demand, some server-side APIs, and it's just a more of an integrated approach. One of the key and exciting features that server-side product enables is our instant collaboration engine, which is our take on kind of bringing PDFs and the spec kind of more into more modern day workflows where you have multiple people working on the same document. So Traditionally, working on PDFs, you have one person viewing it, annotating it, and then sending it off to someone else. And then that's a cumbersome process. What's the latest version? What we've built is Instant, which brings a collaborative approach so that as documents are annotated, anyone who has access to that version gets those updates in real time, which is quite useful for both. I saw someone talking about an Apple Pencil. I wish I was using mine right now. But what it allows, both from a collaborative perspective, is you have multiple people. You may have someone in the field. You might have someone in the office. You might have multiple departments working on the same document. What it does, it allows that as updates are happening to the document, everyone's getting those updates in real time. It also helps with conflict resolution as well. It's also great from individual user basis, as if you use multiple devices, because Instance supported on both our mobile iOS and Android framework as well as our web framework. So if I'm moving from my desktop to my mobile app, my mobile app to my iPad, these changes are going to persist even from a user basis. You also don't have to run the risk of, oh, I forgot to save, because these changes are pushing back to your servers in real time. Again, our products are entirely self-hosted for our SDKs, and nothing pings back to us. So you're having a secure kind of session with this. Some other neat features we've added threaded commenting, which you're able to dictate through an API name. It's anonymous here, but I'm able to change that and prompt a username, so you can have a threaded comment on the PDF. I can see this coming up here. And that's quite helpful during the process. We also have the ability to do permissions. So with this engine, you can put permissions so that, let's say I'm doing a webinar, I'm able to do everything. But if I would share this link with everyone and enable this real-time collaboration, I could make everyone else a read-only version as well. So as long as people have access to the document, it's a quite handy tool between the permissions, the threaded commenting, and things like that. So we've seen a huge interest in this and growing, and as more people are working together, both remotely and things like that, in education for teachers and students, as well as other workflows as engineering. And it covers everything, even removing a document. I'm going to be able to notify everyone that has access to the document that it's been modified. It's read only, so I need to reload it. So there's a lot of benefits there. So that is a quick run through of primarily the different feature sets. Always like to leave people with a couple action items from the webinar. If you have any questions, obviously you can talk to our sales team. We'd love to hear a little bit more about your product. Since we are kind of feature flagging everything, we want to, work with you to get the right license up and running. Hear what you're interested in deploying this on. As you see, we have quite an extensive offering. And then you have some options, you can skip the line, go ahead and schedule a call with our team, and we can set up with a product demo. We also give you an access to talk to our technical support team if you have technical questions as well. Guillermo always helps us out. We also have the free trial that we covered at the beginning. You can also explore maybe some of the different solutions and the features that we suggest that we commonly see documents being used in. So if we're looking at construction, you can see some of the highlighted features and what we think might be helpful. So you can talk to someone on the PSPDFKit team to help you out. Wonderful. Yeah, Guillermo, if you want to jump back on, we can knock out some of these last questions and send everyone on their way. So, there was a question on, recommendations rendering large PDFs when loading it into the browser. So typically for our standalone SDK, it does handle PDFs quite well. I think, most browsers do struggle with document sizes that are above 100 megabytes, maybe to 200 megabytes. So that server component that we discussed for PSPDFKit for web server back will allow you to download those pages on demand. So if I come to my showcase here that I was showing and I switch over to my server mode, what you'll see is as I'm scrolling, I'm downloading these pages on demand rather than, waiting for the entire document. So I'm able to, lazy load these documents rather than waiting for the entire document to load. Again, I can come to the scientific one, and as I jump forward, it's only going to render the pages that I'm looking at rather than waiting for everything else. So that's kind of our solutions for large documents. We've also seen customers split documents up before, like into smaller chunks, but we have some definitely recommendations on that. Yep, as we see, you are splitting large PDFs to single pages. Yeah, we would definitely say lazy loading would be the way we would suggest to do that.
Yes, I see a question regarding comments and whether you can mark certain comments as private, only for yourself, public for everyone, or even specifying like a subset of users. Yes, I think you are actually, Richard is currently showing. We have a demo of this use case, and we call this instant permissions that allows you to specify these kind of workflows. I don't know if Richard, you would like to comment a little bit more about the demo.
No, I'm able to mark certain annotations as private, so that if I come over to somebody else looking, you can see that you can see I've done another demo where the student says I hate my teacher, but then when I come over to the teacher view, that that comment is private. So we do have the ability to mark comments, public or private. Yeah.
Yes, and it like Richard mentioned, it works with annotations and comments. So yeah, even not only the instant comments, but also any kind of annotation is, you can specify this kind of permissions on those. So I see another question regarding instant layers. So the question is, are layers the best solution to implement multiple users having their own set of annotations to the same PDF? Also, can comments be made on a specific layer? So the answer to both questions can be yes. So you can set a specific layer per user, and all of those annotations that are on that layer can remain only visible to the user when the next time the same user opens the document, you set it so that you open the document showing that specific layer. And yes, also comments can be made to specific document layers as well. Can I trigger a JavaScript function when the screen is clicked with location information? Yes, that's also possible with our JavaScript SDK. So what you can do is you can set an event listener. We have a specific event that will tell you that someone clicked on certain position of a page, and you will get as arguments the X and Y coordinates of that position where the user clicked. So I'm seeing more questions. The next one is it possible to save the annotations separate from the PDF? So it's a merge between the original PDF and external annotations. This is also possible. We have the recommended way to do something like that is by using instant JSON, which is a, a, a format from us that you can export all the annotations into. So you save that instant JSON as a separate file. And then, like you mentioned, you can use that instant JSON to merge those annotations into whatever document you want. XFDF, I think, isn't it XFDF instead of XPDF?
Yeah.
Because we support a format called XFDF, which is a standard serialization format for annotations. And yes, we support XFDF. Does merge and split also work with encrypted files? So in the case of encrypted files, you would need to first decrypt the file so that we are dealing with raw PDF documents, and then we can perform those operations. And later on, you can encrypt the resulting file again. Yes, for encryption and decryption, that would depend on, you would need to write custom code to be able to handle that. But once you decrypt the contents, we are able to load them in the viewer. What kind of custom code? That custom code would depend, would be the functions that deal with the keys necessary to handle the encryption and decryption based on whatever encryption format and algorithms was used to encrypt the original document. So the cryptographic code would be need to be provided in order to handle that use case. But we can, for more complex scenarios, we always encourage our customers to reach out to support so that we can assist in processes like that where we have certain implementation and certain additional questions regarding how to perform certain actions. We can provide assistance via our official support channels. So the next question is regarding if we have some demo of an extreme style customization of the viewer just to see the possibilities. I don't know if we have something in hand regarding that right now. Richard, do you have something in mind regarding?
We showed a couple different things. I guess if there's some more detail on extreme styles. So, when we're looking at, our standard UI here, one of the things we showed was the flip book here. So I'm gonna make this snap to here, but here you've seen us basically remove everything but the page navigation and change the page transition so that it mirrors a magazine as well. So there are quite a bit of flexibility in how you're going to customize the UI here. Maybe that helps a little bit on giving some context there. Obviously, if you have any ideas, we're happy to kind of talk through, if you have any Figma files or anything like that of what you've done, and we can kind of help provide some feedback on what's possible. The buttons itself, yeah. So all the icons itself are customizable, so you could change the layout there as well. So what those look like? Yeah.
You can also change any CSS styling. You can also remove the sidebars altogether and change with your custom ones. So you can do also specifying custom DOM elements if you want to further change everything regarding how the toolbar is rendered. That's also possible. But yes, and icons, colors, those are the usual changes that most people make without any issue into the viewer.
Wonderful. Great. So I'm going to put two links in the chat. One is a link to our sales team. So if you have any questions, you could email our sales team directly. We have a number of resources, both for technical and commercial questions. I'm also putting a link directly to our engineering support desk as well, if there's a conversation you want to have there. But it does look like we're running a bit towards the end of time. But again, this was recorded and will be shared with everybody. So feel free to get in touch with us, and recognized a lot of names there today that are currently talking to our team. So I'm hoping this was insightful. And thanks again. We hope to hear from you soon.